Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we wrap up today's show.
This is the fastest hour and a half.
Fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming. And we squeeze a lot into 90 minutes. We don't just sit here and talk to each other, do we?
It's like crossing the time zone from Central to Eastern time.
I'm organized. Okay, yeah. I'm over-organized. I don't like to hear me talk. I like to hear guests on this show, and you'll always find that is part of this show and its success as we go into our 18th year on the air. And we're going to wrap up today's show with a really serious topic that I know this young man can talk about because all the good friends at Pradco have been good friends with Outdoors with Larry Ray over the years. And one of Pradco's, they got many, many companies under their umbrella. But as part of this is a Summit Tree Stand guys who have we've talked to many times. And tree stand safety is so important right now. As we talked earlier, we're into about our third week of the bow season in Tennessee. And, yes, we are hunting in shorts and T-shirts, which is and bathed in bug spray. But accidents are always possible. And so who better to talk to than Mark Olis? He is and yes, that is the second mark in a row, in case you were thinking I got these marks all mixed up. But I've never missed the mark. Okay, let's talk about that.
Hit your mark.
Mark Olis, he is the content marketing manager for Pradco Outdoor Brands, and that includes the Summit Tree Stands. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being with us. And I know you have been with Pradco for how long?
Well, I've been with Pradco
6 months.
Earlier
How about
this
that?
Summer.
Yeah.
But I've been using Pradco products for many, many years.
Well, who hasn't? I mean,
right.
They've got a market on it in Fort Smith. I mean, these guys have done a lot for it. And so do you work out of your home in where? Birmingham? Where are you based?
Yeah, so the Pradco Outdoors, our hunting division, we're here in Birmingham, Alabama.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yes, sir. So, and then, of course, the fishing division is based out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. But I'm right here in Birmingham at the headquarters office here.
And we'll let everybody know that you are an Auburn fan. We won't hold that against you. Okay, I learned that. Okay, my Razorbacks have already played you, so it doesn't matter to me at all. So it doesn't.
Yes, sir. Fair enough.
But let's talk a little bit about tree stand safety. Mark, I know you got to be an outdoorsman. You love the outdoors, and you guys through Summit Stands. Recently released a short film about Tim Crawford, an Alabama hunter who in 2008 fell 25 feet from a tree stand as a result of what?
Well, Tim is like a lot of guys. This happened on our archery season opens October 15th annually here in Alabama.
Uh-huh.
This year it's actually the 14th, which is a little odd, but anyways, it was opening morning, and Tim went out. He's just like every other hunter. The hunt is on his mind. He's dreaming about that buck coming by and everything else. And, oftentimes we put tree stand safety in the back of our mind. It's not going to happen to me is what you hear over and over and over again from people that have fallen.
Yes.
They never thought it was going to happen to them. And Tim was the exact same way, and unfortunately that day, Tim found himself laying at the base of that tree for 8 hours before help arrived.
Man, yeah, I'm sure there was no cell phones really in 2008 as much as we have now for as communication-wise, and sometimes we can't find a tower or a signal, and
exactly.
So they have captured this in this wonderful film over YouTube that I saw on Summit's YouTube channel that not only did he recover, but tell us about the film itself and the end result of how Tim is today.
Well, it's a miracle, honestly. I mean, Tim was told. I mean, he laid paralyzed for those 8 hours. He couldn't move, and he was told by the doctors that he wouldn't walk again. And he refused to believe that himself. And believe it or not, he is walking around today. The first thing he wanted to do was get back in the woods.
That's it.
We know how we hunters are, so that's what we're always thinking about. But the message from what happened with Tim is when he laid there for 8 hours, he thought about all the people he had impacted. Tim owns his own business, so he has employees who rely on him for their livelihood. He has a family. He has grandchildren. And as he laid there, he thought about all these people that, he was letting down because he didn't wear a safety harness into his tree stand. He didn't take the precautions needed to make sure he got back out of the woods that day.
And the sad thing about this, it still happens today, right?
It is, and if I can, I've got some numbers here.
Yes, give them to me.
Really mind blowing. There's no big study that you'll find online. A lot of these studies of tree stand falls are actually done by hospitals. So you go to areas like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania that have huge hunting populations, and this is where a lot of these numbers come from. But of the deer hunters, 86% will hunt from tree stands. Out of those folks hunting from tree stands, annually 10% are going to have some kind of injury from a fall.
Wow.
And the staggering thing, tree stand falls, they are now the number one injury among hunters. It's not firearm-related accidents, accidental shootings. That's not even it. It's falls from tree stands. And so some of these medical studies they've done, the average height that people fall from is around 18 feet.
Almost two stories.
Almost 2 stories of a building. Yeah.
Well, and listen to what that does to the human body. In 18 feet, a human body is traveling about 30 miles per hour at the time of impact. So you can imagine that you don't have a seatbelt on, you hit the ground, it's like a car accident. And 80% of the people that fall have to undergo surgery. So you're talking expenses and everything, loss of time on the job. And out of those the fall victims, 10% suffer permanent neurological injuries or even death.
Oh, man.
So these are bad accidents. 54% of the people that fall suffer spinal fractures. 22% suffer traumatic brain injuries. You've got liver, kidney, spleen lacerations, and 23%. 11% have pelvic fractures. So the average hospital stay for tree stand fall victims is about 6.5 days. Some of those are in the ICU. So it's a very traumatic injury. It's devastating.
Well, you've just about I think I'll just close the show right now because Mark has just laid out some mind-boggling statistics. And again, we're talking to Mark Olis of our good friends at Practical Outdoor Brands. And Summit takes this serious too, right? I mean, Summit has been one of those right at the top. That's their number one priority, I think you said in your press release.
It absolutely is, and I mean, safety is our number one concern, and that's why we put a lot of design and effort into our products. Not only our tree stands are made to be safe and all that, but we're talking about our harness systems.
Yeah.
Our full body harness systems. Those are rated up for a 300-pound person. So, these are strong systems. You should have it on every time you go in the tree, and you should be attached to that tree. So if you're using a climbing stand, you need to have your climbing rope on there as you're going up. Don't go fast. Just get out there a little extra early. Go quiet and be slow as you ascend. Take your time And, for guys hunting lock-on stands and ladder stands, every one of those stands should have a safety line attached. Summit makes pre-made ones. They're 30-foot length. They have a double Prusik knot system in them. You can hook right in before you ever leave the ground, and that Prusik knot slides right up that rope and slides down. No effort at all, no noise, and you are hooked in the entire time from when you leave the ground to when you return. Because one of the things you'll read from most of these fall accidents is guys were climbing in and out of their stands when it happened.
And we can throw these statistics, and somebody's still going to do it. I mean, that's what I don't understand. And they say, well, I don't want to spend any money on one of those things. I ain't never going to fall. Come on.
Yeah, what's 25 feet?
Yeah, what's 25 feet? I mean, I'm afraid of 2 feet. At my age.
We talked about October being tune-up month. Well, now it's tune it up. You get your stands out. Or if you're going to think about buying,
a harness.
A Summit.
You got to have a harness.
Yeah, get your harness. Go out and practice climbing right now.
Yeah. And that's what we recommend. Don't wait till you go on the hunt. Practice in the backyard somewhere with these devices so you're familiar. You have it already adjusted, And one thing in the early season, like you said, it's hot as could be right now.
Yeah.
You don't have as much clothes on. Well, then when it gets colder later in the season, you're going to need to adjust that out a little to account for your thicker clothing and stuff. So those are all, just the little things you think about. And, I don't know about you guys, but a $70 harness is a sound investment for my life.
Well,
because that harness, like you said, is safety. But, because being in a tree stand, what I think gets a lot of people in problem, you're sitting up there, your blood's pooling into anybody, and you stand up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It can be disorienting. So when you stand up, just stand there for a minute.
Or if you get sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay, older. So, hey, Mark, we appreciate you. This has been wonderful information. I'm going to ask you, and I'll send you an email. I'd like some of this information emailed to me that I can use maybe in a story down the road here in the newspaper. But thank you, Mark Olis. I almost got you.
Yes,
I got it. And tell everybody hello for us. But I'll get in touch with you on email, and we'll talk back and forth. Great job. Thank you, buddy. All right.
Hey, thank y'all very much.
All right, Mark Olis. Let me tell you about next week's show really quickly.
Smells like fish next week.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk Strike King. Our man Ron Wong will be up at Kentucky Lake, and they're going to have at least 3 guests, I know, on next week's show. Then we're going to talk to Dave Preck. He is the BASS VP for Editorial Communications. And there's going to be some changes for the 2019 Elite Series. And then we're going to talk to outdoors communicator Mike Giles out of Meridian, Mississippi. About a new book that he's written. It's an old book with a new foreword by Mike, and it's really for you turkey hunters out there. Get ready for it. And we do have fall turkey hunting coming up pretty soon, too, in October, if I'm not mistaken.
In archery, some of the counties.
Yeah, they're already going.
Already going.
Thank you, Dave Gabbert, for being with us.
Always a pleasure.
It was fast, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I know you got to get back to Lexington. Your wife's out of town. There's no telling what you're going to be doing in Lexington for the next 10 days. So
I got to go break clay target.
Oh, you do that. Shelby McCall, thank you for being with us. For all you listeners out there, go to lroutdoors.com. Got all the information about today's show, and we'll talk to you next week, Lord willing. And don't forget that it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else?
God bless the USA.